All right, guys, what's up? Zach Evanesh here. Welcome back to another episode of the Strong Life Podcast. As this is your first time here, welcome to the Strong Life Podcast, where I talk about all things training and life, how to take strength from the weight room or the gym and apply it to life. So sometimes we talk about business, oftentimes I'm talking about mindset, sometimes nutrition. And I believe this is episode 302. So this is going to be a solo episode. The previous episode was with Scott Mendelson on fat loss and boosting testosterone for men in their mid 30s, mid 40s, early 50s. So when I bring on guests, I like to bring on guests that are kind of experts outside of my realm, and also cool people who are bringing new stuff. Like Michael Easter was a great guest as we spoke about his book, The Comfort Crisis, and how we can apply the lessons he's learned from being uncomfortable to your life and to be more successful in all aspects of life. So a couple topics I want to cover today. Yesterday, actually today's Monday, so Saturday, did a business seminar with my buddies at Varsity House Gym. That's Dan Goodman, Joe Riggio, and Adam Menner. Adam is like their head of sports performance and their coaches education. So he helps systematize their training methods and systems and basically the client experience. And then Dan and Joe are the co-owners, CFOs, CEOs, CMOs, chief marketing officers, and great guys. We've known about each other for a long time, and we connected probably 2 years ago in person. I remember they came down to my gym in Manasquan, New Jersey before I had my knee surgery. And want to also thank my buddies over at Sorenex. This podcast is brought to you by Sorenex. Make sure you check them out. If you're looking for equipment, whether it's for your garage gym, home gym, basement gym, setting up a private training studio, setting up a high school, setting up a college. I've been working with Sorenex since 2003. So I've purchased multiple squat racks and of course different pieces of equipment from them for about 20 years now. And in episode 300, people asked me why I'm not buying equipment from other companies. Not that I never buy equipment from other companies, but from the squat racks, I love the Sorenex squat racks. We actually just rigged up. I have 2 Sorenex racks at the Manasquan Underground Strength Gym. They're called the Dark Horse racks. They've got a little bit of a smaller footing than the XL rack, and I needed to save the space. But the connector I put in the middle was a tad too small. I had an old connector from the previous gym I had. And so my buddy John, this guy is the man. I came up with the idea of let's cut this extra connector and let's weld like an extra 12 inches onto the current one. And it just came out great. And, it's like John is I don't know if there's such a thing as a master welder, but this guy's a master. And so it came out great. We opened up some space. I got some more real estate in between the 2 squat racks. And for me, it's now offers more utility and probably more importantly, more safety. That's on my mind. Like I'm OCD with the safety. All right. So let's get into this. I've got a couple of things I want to share with you about how you could apply lessons I picked up from the business seminar, and they're not necessarily business lessons. And then just some inspiration I've got from my recent conversations with my buddy Jim Wendler, who I've been friends with for also about 20 years. And man, time goes way too fast. It's crazy. So number one, Saturday, we did this business seminar. Dan and Joe run another aspect of Varsity House Gym. It's called Varsity House Education, and they have the business of strength. They do a lot of consulting with strength coaches. And I actually brought them down and we discussed business the first time when I was just looking at kind of different ways to grow the underground strength gym. At the time, this was pre-COVID. So I wasn't dealing with kind of the craziness that was going on at my other facility. And now I'm just one facility. I don't want to say I'm done having partners, but I've learned so much from having several partners. through the years that I'm going to be really dialed in. The next, not that I wasn't dialed in, but just the details are going to be more important than ever before. And there are also times in business where less equals more. You get rid of things and now you're more productive, more free time, more income, less expenses. And so that's some food for thought. But yeah, Saturday's business seminar was rescheduled because there was a pretty legit snowstorm we had here in New Jersey. You know, it was different snowfall throughout New Jersey. I know for some of you in like Montana, Minnesota, you know, Vermont, you'll laugh, but we had like 17 or 18 inches in my town. And that was pretty significant snow for here. So we rescheduled and we had 10 people at the event. I think one person didn't show up. Gonna have to figure out what happened there. But I marketed that pretty heavily, like almost every day on my Instagram story, several times a week through newsletters to my business newsletter, using my social media and all that stuff. And what's shocking is a lot more people need it because I get a shit ton of business questions, coaches that are struggling, coaches that need guidance. And here was an opportunity for them, and many did not take it. And I got to tell you, like, I'll play kind of a little bit of both sides here. I've been there before where I needed to do something. The opportunity was there, and I came up with a laundry list of excuses as to why I'm not doing it. And that's a big mistake because me being a co-host and a co-presenter of this business event, I was also a student at the event. So when Adam, Joe, and Dan were speaking, I was off to the side with a notepad taking notes. And so I was kind of reminded in a intense way of like, man, I needed this. I haven't been attending a business seminar in a long time. Granted, COVID stopped a lot of in-person things, but there was such a different vibe and energy in the room, much different than I'm going to get if I'm following somebody on Zoom. Not that Zoom is bad or you can't learn that way, but there's something that puts you on the hook that like increases your accountability when you travel. So I'm not at home. I drove 90 minutes. There's been many times where I've driven a lot more than 90 minutes. I often share the story of going to a training seminar in the early 2000s that Juan Carlos Santana held. And I called out of work on a Friday and I drove down to Florida. And then I attended the event Saturday and Sunday. And then Sunday afternoon it ended. And so I had to fly home because I was going back to work Monday. So I got home. I think I got home around 3 a.m.-ish, slept 4 hours, woke up, had a meal replacement shake. I remember I was drinking Lean Body, Leela brought it Lean Body. That was a great meal replacement. And then I went to work. And so I drove to and from Florida. And it's just, you know, really interesting and amazing how people won't drive within the same state. And they reach out to me with stressors of how to manage employees, how to get more money, how to get more cash flow, how to schedule, how to price. They asked all these questions that we were aggressively tackling. And I wanted to learn from Dan and Joe and Adam because they have a main facility, a very large facility. And then they have what they call satellite facilities, which look very much like the underground strength gym. And I have done that before where I've had satellite facilities inside a baseball facility. The last one that I had was inside like a martial arts combat training facility. And I shared the ups and downs and the mistakes I made with the people attending. And we also recorded it. The attendees are getting the recordings. I gave them a bonus where I gave them the first video presentation for Operation Thunder, which has been updated and upgraded. And so they got a shit ton of information. And here's the other thing. Being there, I got so fired up and inspired that it's like I'm so excited to implement and grow my business because I don't want to come back and talk to the guys And then I'm like, hey guys, I was at the seminar, and they'd be like, well, what are you doing different? What was your takeaway? Well, nothing. To me, I'm going to be embarrassed to have nothing in return for those guys. So I'm very excited for that. We're going to do that again. And the next live event I have coming up is April 30th with Joe DeFranco and Matt Wenning training seminar. And it's, to me, I've said this before, but I'm not sure how long you've been listening, but I have done so many seminars alone that now what I enjoy doing is working with other people, doing cool shit with cool people. And so I also am going to be organizing something with Brandon Lilly, and also get Casey Bard to come down from Tactic Calories, where it's going to be like, I think we're going to call it the +1 gathering. So Brandon Lilly is on his Instagram. It's also Peace, Love, and Meat. He just talks about +1, like every day and every opportunity is either a +1 or it's not. So the food that you choose to eat, the information you choose to take in, the people you choose to surround yourself with, the actions you take. And I love it. It's such a simple strategy, yet very powerful, that can really build momentum and add up. And momentum, to me, in life, in business, in training, it's key. So my boy Mark Smelly Bell talks about putting points up on the scoreboard. So when you wake up and the alarm goes off, if you hit snooze, that's not a +1. There's 0 points going up on the scoreboard of life. And I found that you can build momentum by just doing these little things that consistently add up. I even find it when I'm producing content. I'm inspired to do work. And these podcasts I've mentioned in episode 300, I'm stepping away from YouTube. I'm still uploading these videos to YouTube. I'm just keeping them unlisted, and just so it's there. And when I want to launch them, I will launch them. But the focus now for me is the Strong Life podcast. It's my daily newsletter and email. Well, it's almost daily. You should get on it. That's where you're going to stay up to date with me. Go to zachstrength.com. You're also going to get a free training course when you go there. But the gist over there is that I'm not dealing with an algorithm. I'm not dealing with somebody else controlling me, Instagram, Facebook, and all that crap. I'm still utilizing Instagram. I know there's a lot of eyeballs there, but I'm 46 and I don't want to be wasting time, energy, money, resources on a platform that's not working for me. And so, can I play the game of YouTube? Can I hire a videographer and an editor and somebody to handle all those things? I certainly could, but I don't think that really the desire or people want my information on YouTube, which is it's not a big deal, to be honest with you. On YouTube, there are so many creators and so much information. And Gary Vaynerchuk always said, the market is the market, meaning it doesn't matter what you want or you like. If there's not a good response to it, you're just I am implementing insanity by producing content and doing the whole still image bullshit that I'm not an artist. That's not my inspiration. And the views are not there. So that's a sign that the market does not want my information. They don't think it's valuable, or YouTube doesn't think it's valuable. And so it makes no sense to waste my time there and create that content. So I want to speak to you now on the next, I've got a little outline here that I wanted to follow. The next thing about, the business seminar or any experience such as Winter Strong that I attended 2 weeks ago is the power of your surroundings, the power of your environment, the people that you're around. And people are either going to be, battery chargers in your life or battery drainers. And I don't know anybody that doesn't want to feel inspired and invigorated and excited to do things. And the way you get there is certainly you can read and listen to podcasts and read my newsletter and, do other things. But experiences are what are going to be the life changers and game changers for you. because when you're around other like-minded people, or maybe people more, they have just a different outlook, they have a more abundant outlook and they're achieving more than you become inspired. And you also realize what is capable, the potential you possibly have, because you see other people achieving success who maybe came from even more of a struggle than you've experienced. And it starts kind of getting the wheels turning in your mind. You're like, damn, I can do something. I could do something with this idea, or I can achieve more than what I'm doing now. And so look at these events that I put on, for example, Sornex just posted that Summer Strong, the date is locked in. Get to that event. It will inspire you just to be better. So when you get there, you feel like you have something to offer to other people. Today, I'm going to go shooting. I'm going to go to the shooting range. I'm going to go alone. When I get to Winter Strong next year, I'm going to have something to offer. I could help somebody else who hasn't gone shooting. I want to have something to offer that goes beyond strength and conditioning, which I know I have. And so I'm excited for that. Next thing, talking about surroundings and environment, kind of creeping into who do you communicate with? What people do you speak with? So yesterday I exchanged a lot of text messages with my buddy Jim Wendler. And as I mentioned earlier, him and I have been friends for about 20 years. When I used to call up Elite FTS to place orders, Jim would answer the phone and we would end up, talking about training, talking about life, talking about winning the Mr. Israel bodybuilding show. And we became friends that way. And same thing with Sornex. When I would call Sornex, I would speak with Bert all the time. And so I would share and talk to him about how I'm utilizing the equipment I just purchased from him with the training of the athletes in the garage, or the first squat rack I purchased from Sornex and having them customize the height and adding another hole for the pull-up bar. And so, all right, guys, I stepped away for a second there, had somebody servicing our heat. So speaking about Jim Wendler and the people you surround yourself with, and even just the people you engage with, the people you communicate with, that is crucial. For example, today I'm going shooting and I'm very inspired after Winter Strong. And so I'll text message Scott Valkorsten. I always mix up his name, Valkorsten or Valkortsen. I'm going to look it up right now, but they make custom firearms. Let's pull up Scott on Instagram right now. Awesome dude. Scott Valkortsen and Valkortsen Firearms. So I'll send him a text message like, hey, I'm going shooting. And they get fired up over that, because it was a life changer for me to learn this new skill, to pick up this new skill, just like training was a life changer for me. My son is 13 and a half, and I started realizing yesterday that at 13 and a half, that's it. I became fully immersed in bodybuilding. Back then it wasn't strength and conditioning, but I was riding my bike to the YMCA Monday through Saturday, oftentimes Monday through Sunday, training every day. And for example, now what kids are riding their bikes to the gym to train? And it wasn't like it was a short, a couple blocks away. It was a good 15-minute ride, maybe a little bit longer. And I remember my goal, because I read Arnold's Education of a Bodybuilder about how he would be so sore and achy after training. My goal after training legs was to be unable to pedal my bike. I wanted to destroy my legs. Now, that's not the best way to train. And so Jim Wendler and I were chatting yesterday, and we got somehow into talking about the bodyweight training. And I had read one of his blog posts, one of his articles about like his daily workouts. And it's such high volume bodyweight training. I told him, I was like, dude, you could just go to prison. You're like, could be the king of the prison yard the way you're training. You're doing these prison bodyweight workouts, meaning high volume push-ups, pull-ups, squats, burpees. Whereas when I got into the body weight training, I think I wrote Bodyweight Bodybuilding in '09, maybe it was '08. My body was feeling very achy. I think it was roundabout when I moved here, and I wasn't sure what it was going on. I kind of blamed the weights for it. And so I felt like the barbell was my enemy. My body was aching, and I'm 46. We moved here about 13 years ago. So I was in my early 30s, just shy of mid 30s. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a 2-week body weight break. And then as the days went on, I said, let's see how committed you are. Go for 30 days. And I didn't think I could do 30 days of body weight only training because emotionally, I love lifting heavy. I love grabbing a thick bar or doing Zercher squats or doing pharma walks. I wanted to see, could I emotionally stick to it? Not so much physically. And I fell in love with it. And, 2 weeks became 30 days, and 30 days became 6 months of body weight only training. And I would go to the playground, local playground, and work on the parallel bars, work on the monkey bars. I would sprint, I would jump, and my body felt amazing, very athletic. And if you go on my YouTube channel, as well as my blog, zachevnish.com, type in bodyweight bodybuilding in the search bar, and you'll see all kinds of videos. You could type in pull-ups, push-ups, calisthenics, bodyweight training. There are a lot of videos and articles I've done. And what's interesting is, so Bodyweight Bodybuilding was created in 2009 when I moved here. You know how many people ripped that name off? It's like, here's another reason why this industry is like, it's just guaranteed to happen. And we'll see it all the time. It is what it is. By the way, inside the Underground Strength Academy, I did a video recently where I kind of perused through the Herschel Walker training book. I don't have it on my desk. I put it away. But Joe Gilfetter, who's a strength coach over at Fordham, which is in the Bronx in New York, he was asking me about the book. And so I looked it up, and it was expensive, on eBay and on Amazon, used maybe like $180, $179. Same thing. I have a kid getting an ACL surgery this week, so I wanted to buy him some books. So what did I buy him? Super Squats. I think I got him Keys to Progress. And then I was going to buy him Dinosaur Training, which I purchased back in the day. I don't even know if I don't even know if Amazon was out back then. So I probably bought it directly from Brooks Cubic, but it was like $19.95. Same thing with my book. I believe, by the way, I think Dragon Door has my physical book restocked at $40. But if you try to find it on Amazon, it's usually hovers around $180, which is insane. So anyway, back to it. I'm speaking with Jim yesterday, and I'm about to clean up my gym after we welded, moved over the squat racks, drilled them into the floor. Not we welded. My buddy John did it. He's the man. And so I'm cleaning up, and Jim's telling me about this high volume body weight training. And so he's like, well, I just started with 70 push-ups and 30 pull-ups. So I was like, all right, in between a little vacuuming and in between putting weights back on the squat rack, I'm going to do push-ups and pull-ups. So I think I did 25 push-ups, 10 pull-ups for 2 sets. Then it became 20 push-ups, 8 or 7 pull-ups for 2 sets. Then it was like 15 push-ups, 5 pull-ups for 2 sets. So when it was all said and done, I was at 100 plus pull-up, 100 plus push-ups, and around 50 pull-ups. Now, that's nothing to write home to mom about, because honestly, in my early and mid 30s, when I weighed 225, I was doing 25 pull-ups. Okay. Full range of motion, no kipping. Then I had the shoulder surgery, then this, then that. And, would I have had these injuries if I wasn't weightlifting? Probably should have paid a lot more attention to mobility and soft tissue work. My buddy Alan Cosgrove often posts, he's like, show me a 40-year-old who says that he wishes he didn't spend extra time on mobility in his 20s and 30s. Point being, work on that flexibility, work on that mobility, work on the tissue quality. 2 weeks ago, I got the, I think it's called the pain pill from Kabuki. It's a 40-pound roller. And, Donnie Thompson makes the body tempering rollers. So I have an 80-pounder here, and I got that 40-pounder to work small areas. I also use it for my kids. But, again, who do you speak with? Who is in your environment, even virtually, even through, phone and text? And so every now and again, when I speak with Jim, and he's not the best at returning text messages, but I know that, and I understand that, and I know that's how he's like, and that's why I love the guy. So when we text message probably every 3 months, I'm inspired speaking with Jim. So what's the information coming into your mind? What people do you allow into your life? Speaking with Jim yesterday inspired me to do that bodyweight training, which did not take me long. I snuck it in while cleaning up at the gym. And let me tell you, it put me in such a better mood because I took Friday off. I had trained Monday through Thursday. Then Saturday, I was at the seminar. And so I'm not a fan of 3 days off. And then talking with Jim, I just started banging out those bodyweight training exercises. And it was exciting. And it was another reminder of your social circle is part of your environment. And I say it to the athletes I train, don't just be great at athletics, or don't just be great at academics. Be great at everything: your social life, your academics, your athletics, the way you take care of your body. And that's the powerful thing about being a coach, is you can't say those things unless you're doing it yourself. So I put myself on the hook to get better and to improve. And so this body weight only is, this week, I think I'm going to go body weight only. And I'm going to adjust it inside Gladiator Strong, which is my program on Train Heroic. We're going through a training cycle called B3, which is bars, bells, and body weight. So we're using barbells, kettlebells, and lots of body weight. And so one of the days, I believe it's next week, because I've already programmed this week, is going to be an all body weight day. And I know people are going to get fired up when they're done, is they're going to talk about how great they feel from doing all the body weight training. And so these are the things I wanted to talk to you about. The need to attend events outside of your hometown, outside of your state. Get out and expose yourself in areas that make you uncomfortable, that inspire you and force you to grow. And when Dan and Joe were speaking with me, in between stuff, they were talking about how last week they were down in Philly consulting with 2 strength coaches. And so one of the guys came to one of my early certifications. His name's Devin Gage. The other guy who I looked up is crushing it on Instagram. It's G Strength Philly. And they told me he's got a 700 square foot spot, and he's crushing it. And I looked at his spot, and there's 3 half racks, a strip of turf, and some kettlebells and dumbbells. The place looks awesome. And it's a reminder. And I know a lot of people that follow me, coaches especially, you've heard me speak about low hassle, high profit. To me, I love that kind of setup where you're not managing a million people, a million things. You can have multiple locations like that. And I think about it like, what is your return of investment if you're not even coaching in there? It could be more than you owning a piece of real estate where your people are paying you rent, maybe covering your home, maybe covering your bills. And then at the end, okay, you could sell the house, but you still get taxed on it and whatnot. But being smart and being strategic with your business in the strength and conditioning field can be powerful. I think a lot of people go too big, too complicated, then they burn themselves out. They have too many expenses, and then they get out of the industry. Okay. So attend other events. So keep an eye out on my newsletter for events coming up. The certifications I've got coming up will be online. So I'm looking here on my whiteboard. Looks like in late March, I'm going to launch the SSPC certification online, the Strength and Sport Performance Coach Cert. So it's going to be training information, and the bonus is the business seminar I did with Joe DeFranco, which is going to be powerful. I'm also going to be adding a bonus business to Underground Strength Coach certification online. I'm speaking at the NHS SCA, that's the National High School Strength Coach Association, on March 12th in Pennsylvania. It's up in the Pittsburgh area. Middle of March, I'm speaking at the New Jersey Athletic Director Conference. Very going to be awesome. So late March will be certification. April 2nd, hosting the New Jersey NHS SCA State Clinic at Paul Collodi's school, which is 100 and Central. Him and I do a podcast together called the New Jersey High School Strength Coaches Podcast. End of April, Matt Wenning, myself, Joe DeFranco, Triple Threat Seminar. Mid-May, going to be at Summer Strong. And so I always like to have, well, I've got March, April, May, and I'm going to be putting June up there, mapping out activities and events, whether I'm launching something or attending something. So I like to have 4 to 6 months planned events per month in advance. And so what are you doing next month? What are you doing in the next 2 to 3 months? Where are you investing in yourself? Not just physically, not just mentally, emotionally, not just business, but each and every area, spiritually, nutrition, health. Where are you investing to get skin in the game? So that's some food for thought that I hope inspires you and gets you to take action. And I want you guys to head over to zachstrength.com, get on the newsletter. And again, thanks to Sorenex for partnering with me to bring you the Strong Life podcast. If you need my help, my advices on what equipment you would need or want for your setup, whatever you have going on, home gym, garage gym, basement gym, high school, business, reach out to me and I'll help you get dialed in with Sorenex, and then I'll put you in touch with the right people. So again, guys, go to zachstrength.com. And if you want training, Gladiator Strong on Train Heroic, we are crushing it. And that's it, guys. Boom. I'm out of here. And I appreciate everybody who's been leaving 5-star reviews. It's very helpful. Keep those reviews coming. They're powerful. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good one.